I only shot in practice. I can't see through the viewfinder.
About this much.
I expect sidewalk Caroline.
Starting to wonder what's going on now. And the Austrian officer said, the Britishers. And in fact, there's a round from an Austrian musketry from behind us. And the Austrians are falling back. That means there must be some British troops here and they must outnumber them. There's only a few of them, so they're falling back onto the bridge. Now, if they were really, really good soldiers in garrison, they would now close the drawbridge. But because the British troops, when they retreated yesterday, destroyed the tools, they can't close the bridge. And in fact, British Light Infantry, ladies and gentlemen, are taking the first bridge. The 68th Durham Light Infantry. British Infantry, give them a cheer. Go on. This is one of the most modern British units. They fight shoulder to shoulder in mass volleys like everybody else, but they're also trained to fight as skirmishers individually. Napoleonic soldiers were treated as if they had no brains at all, but in fact some of them were quite bright, and those tended to be drafted into the skirmishing units whose job was to attack the enemy and pick them off one by one. And the second company, the 68th, led by the rather dashing officer, charge over to take the rabble in. And they're going to deploy the Austrians standing on the bridge. They haven't run away. To their credit, the Austrians are still standing. But they don't look very happy. You can see the enormous amount of smoke from just one musket. Over the 68th come. You can see they wear quite a lot of equipment on their backs. And the young officer leading his men, they've captured the end of the bridge. They're firing away with their brown-based muskets. Of course, these are extremely inaccurate guns. Look at that smoke. You might think, why aren't these soldiers wearing camouflage? Well, because the guns are so inaccurate, it doesn't matter what you wear. So the idea is you dress your soldiers up in the most magnificent uniform you can to impress the enemy and hope they run away from you. And it's worked, because the Austrians have run away. 68th firing away there. But something nasty is coming out of the gate. The French have not been caught unawares. It looks like a huge counterattack developing out of the gate, led by the Russian Lancers. Now these are cavalry, quite deadly dismounted, because if they get at close range with those Lances, the soldiers can't reload the muskets fast enough, and they'll be pinned to the ground by those rather unpleasant Lances. Led by a German officer of service. They're coming on, the Russians are coming on. They're charging over the bridge, and the 68th can't concentrate their fire fast enough. They've got to go, they can't move. And light infantry, very well trained, they're not routing, they're falling back under orders. They're falling back, the lance, oh, they've shot the French officer. He's wounded, he's not dead. Oh, perhaps he is dead. No, he's still squirming, and the Russians have captured the rabble in. And out of the Lancers on the bridge, who of course can't hold the position unaided because they don't have any guns. The British seem content because in the distance, reinforcements, ladies and gentlemen, the 1st Foot Guards, the Grenadier Guards, and Highlanders of the 42nd. You can see the size of the British flags, they're 6 foot square. They're large because in battle, as you can see, a small amount of smoke can soon obscure the battlefield. So the larger the flag, the easier it is for you to find your regiment. Now look at this magnificent French unit. Drums and cymbals, led by sappers in the front in their bearskins. As I said, the flag is the personal emblem of Napoleon Bonaparte. Gilded eagle. This is the 21st to lead, the 21st Regiment to the line. Veteran French troops, every one of them a veteran of Marengo, Ulm, Austerlitz, Friedland. Crack troops, first-class troops that yesterday destroyed the British troops in garrison. Over on the other side, the 68th, firing by platoon. You'll see that redcoats have formed in two bodies now. The French medical staff looking after the officer. The French army is actually the only army to have proper medical staff. The British army couldn't afford it, and so they just amputated anything that got shot. You'll note the very slow rate of fire. That's because these muskets take about half a minute to load. To fire a musket, first of all, bite the top of the paper cartridge off, and you pour a measure of powder down the barrel while you keep the musket ball in your teeth, so your mouth soon fills with rather unpleasant gunpowder. When you put the gunpowder down the barrel, you put a small priming charge from the rest of the charge into the pan. Then you drop down the musket ball, ram it down, and the gun's ready to fire. And the 21st, the 21st, are sending a number of skirmishers forward to take the bridge. Meanwhile, the rest of the British force are arriving, their flags flying. I think you'll agree that Napoleonic warfare has a magnificence about it. What you have to remember is the downside. That when you're hit by a musket ball, you are dead, you are maimed. About to fire a volley. Now at this sort of range, there won't be many casualties. See all this smoke? You can smell it. It's just like November the 5th, isn't it? Meanwhile, on the other side of the berm near the fort, the Austrians stand in reserve. This means that the French aren't entirely confident of holding the battle in. They're leaving men behind to garrison the other end of the bridge in case the Russians and the 21st are forced to retreat. Very, very sound tactics by the French, in complete contrast to the British yesterday, in fact. But today, the reinforcing British, having found the remnants of their garrison, are obviously going to find harder to regain the fort. You can hear above the sound of the guns and the drums the skirl of the pipes of the 42nd. This is the Black Watch. The 42nd fought in America, then they fought in Europe. The 42nd went on to be the Black Watch, which today, of course, is championed by the Army Cuts. And I can see that the French officer that led the Russians has got a bandage around his head, so the medical staff managed to patch up a glancing head wound, whilst another wounded French soldier is taken back to the tender offices of the regimental surgeon. So at the moment we have a situation where the British surprise attack failed because the French were more alert than the British had hoped they would be. But there's a lot of British and not a lot of French, and indeed more British are coming onto the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen. They've got their way round the berm, and the British are on the other side of the battlefield already. They've crossed the moat. Look at this, the British are charging, they're coming forward. Bit of nasty bailing attack there, look at this, bit of hand-to-hand. No one likes it. Oh, very nasty. And the French are falling back, they're falling apart. The British are winning! A couple of French down there, look at them bayonets in, very nasty. Very, very messy. And the reinforcing British troops marching on, colours flying. And the French are still trying to attack. Look at that, one Frenchman is breaking through. Where's he going? He's trying to desert, I think. Oh, he's trying to run away. I don't think he's going to get away. And they've caught him. Oh. Well, he's sensible, at least he'll stay alive. And they're letting him go. How about that? That's chivalrous. And they shot him. Well, so much for chivalry. And a couple of brave French troops are running up to try and get the corpse of their comrade. Lots of firing on the other side of the battlefield. On the other side of the moat now you can see the 46th line filled their gun, and they're under attack from a large number of British troops who are, however, are being held up by the French troops on the ramparts. If you look through the smoke, you can see French soldiers on the ramparts firing. So, it's like round two of the British. And beyond the Ravelin, the British artillery are now in action, firing the solid round shot across the moat towards the French troops near the gate. Now we have a bit of a tactical on-pass now, because the British can't really get down the upper of that bridge without losing a lot of men, and the French know they can't hold it even if they regain the Ravelin. So what's going to happen? Are the British going to stay and hope that the troops on the other side of the moat capture the position? Or are they going to attack? And the Austrians are on the move. They're marching to reinforce the French on the west side of the berm. Obviously the French don't think they can hold without help. Lots and lots of noise, fifes and drums. Every army went into battle with musicians. The musicians played to keep the spirits of the troops up, and of course also they acted as medical personnel, which shows you the state of the medical personnel, because a fighter doesn't really know what to do with a wounded soldier except drag him back to a surgeon who would saw his leg off or whatever, which would be unfortunate. Into a storm of musketry. The French holding their fire, waiting till they get close. The French fire is going to be very unpleasant for the redcoats. And a volley, and the British stopped. They stopped, the musket ball smacking into the redcoats. They're falling back, can't hold. They don't like that at all. A bit of panic there. That was a very good volley from the French. They held their fire to just the right moment. Now what are they going to do? Are they going to counter-attack? In fact they are. The French are counter-attacking, they're coming back. Now the British regiment on the bridge has fired, unloading. So will this other regiment, the 1st Foot Guards, be able to hold this attack? The French coming forward. Fire now. Fire. That's it. Right. Timing's wonderful. And the French are falling back. Very, very brave. They're outnumbered 3-1, but still they attack. On the other side of the moat, the Austrians and the French desperately tried to hold back a group of redcoats that got round the moat somehow. They're firing up the troops on the ramparts. A bit of confusion there. The French are falling back, but very quickly, because they've got the Russians behind them. And it's difficult to retreat over a bunch of lancers. You can see the smoke, ladies and gentlemen, generated by about 150 soldiers. At the Battle of Waterloo, in an area only about 4 or 5 miles square, 150,000 troops fired their muskets all day. And it was stated at the time that you couldn't see anything because of the smoke. But over on the other side of the battlefield, I do see the Austrians attacking. They're going forward, with the French advancing, wheeling their light gun with them, and the British are having to fall back. And the Austrian officer's gone down. He has one of his private soldiers, that doesn't matter. The British are falling back. Will they hold the French? The green-coated British riflemen falling back behind the redcoats. These troops are quite new. They're firing rifled muskets. They're much more accurate than small muskets, but they take longer to load, so they have to be protected by redcoats with the faster firing, yet more inaccurate brown bess muskets. And now the British are bringing up their cannon. They're decided they can get it close onto the bridge. There is now absolutely no chance that the French will be able to get back up onto the Ravelin. They're totally tactically outmatched. Despite being very, very clever, they're outnumbered. Another British attack going across the bridge. They don't give up easily, these recruits. This time they seem to be halting the attack using firefight techniques, street fighting techniques. Advance a bit, fire a bit, advance a bit, fire a bit. Let's see if that's any more successful than a straight frontal attack. And last of all, marching onto the Ravelin, the band playing the British Grenadiers. You'll see the extraordinarily young age of these men. There's no younger age limit in the Napoleonic Wars. And they can't finish more than 10 or 12 years. If hit by a musket ball, they're just as dead as an adult. There's no Geneva Convention, no Red Cross. They are extremely small and a great pity they got shot, I have to say. On the other side, the boat from Lee towards the fort. Count CCM, the regiment in the line, are holding the British, but they haven't managed to drive them right back. So the French counterattack has only partially succeeded. Whilst on the bridge, you can see British redcoat casualties piling up as the 68th, with their street fighting technique, did not fight their way across. So the French are still holding very, very well indeed. The curious thing is I can't see what's happened to the French troops on the ramparts. They seem to have disappeared. What's happened there? See a few muskets. So at the moment you have a bit of a stalemate. A bit of a tactical stalemate. British troops now on the bridge falling off. Back to reform, to fire across the boat. And it's another French attack. These troops are very, very brave. Despite being outnumbered, outmatched, outgunned, they're coming forward again. This time it's the Russian Lancers leading. They were successful before. Will they succeed this time? Something else is happening now. Looks like a truce. In fact, yes, the officer in charge of the British, going up to the French officer in charge. It looks like they're going to have a truce, perhaps to remove casualties from the bridge, to see if there's anybody alive, and the battlefield goes quiet. Just in case the first foot guards move into position. You can see the size of these flags. They really are enormous, but in a battle where you're disorientated by noise, by smoke, and by sheer terror, the only good thing is the fact if you can find your remember, these British troops are all regulars, they are professional soldiers. The French are conscripts, but very good. And the French and Austrians are attacking again. There they go. What will happen? Will they succeed? One of the French goes down. The French keep going. Volley firing. It's very difficult to attack over there because it's so thin, the ground. So whilst there's a truce on the bridge, the battle goes on elsewhere. Truces were purely local affairs. It's very unusual for an army commander to say, oh, hello, old chap, do you want to be a truce for a while? That stopped at the end of the 17th century, given that don't really happen at all. Now, the Austrians and French have been held by the Redcoats. In fact, it looks like the French have been badly handled. In fact, they've been wiped out as far as I can only see a couple of them. So, towards the fort, the news is bad for the French, and you can see the light gun being wheeled back into the defensive position, so their attack has failed. So although the French are holding admirably on the bridge, they are not holding on the other side, and having to retreat. The British must be very encouraged by this. It's got very quiet now, it's dead. We really notice the battle starts again. I can't see from where I'm looking. I believe the casualties are being removed from the bridge, so both sides can advance without treading on the heads of their wounded comrades. And yes, 68th soldier carrying a wounded comrade back on his back. I hope that soldier is lightly wounded, because if he's been hit in the leg or the arm, he'll probably have to be amputated, and because there's no medicine, he'll probably get gangrene and die horribly. If you're a Napoleonic soldier, don't get shot is the message.
Reform! Come on! Move it!
The truce looks like it's over. What what are the French going to do now? They know things are going wrong.
Not to the funeral.
And the French are coming forward again. Look at this. Led by the Russians. A brave attack. They'll probably get mown down. They haven't even got guns. They're going to try and bludgeon their way through against overwhelming numbers of redcoats. So, ladies and gentlemen, these Russian troops have come all the way from Moscow to fight a battle that the French don't stand a chance. So, give the Russians a cheer, ladies and gentlemen. They deserve it. Oh dear, look at that. The redcoats have moved aside and the British gun is waiting. And they're down. The Russians are down. That was very sneaky of the British, but quite a good tactic. And the troops are coming over their bodies. They're still coming on. And the Highlanders are going onto the bridge. The Highlanders, first unit to actually, first time they've been in direct action with the French. The French have stopped. No one wants to get stuck into hand-to-hand. They have a murderous firefight. They're only a few paces. Surviving Russians behind the French troops, all falling back by the look of things. The last brave attempt by the French. I don't think they'll try and counter-attack. And the Highlanders are going after them. Look at that. Charging across the bridge. And the trumpeter blowing the charge. The very same charge which years ago lead his regiment to destruction at Waterloo, when the lifeguards forgot to stop charging to the middle of the French army and were destroyed by French lancers. And the Highlanders have stopped. Not enough of them. The problem with this bridge, ladies and gentlemen, is it's very narrow. So if you're going on, you get 4 or 5 men abreast, while the defenders at either end stand in line where every musket comes. Cannon firing. Confusion on the bridge. What's happening? I can't see through the smoke already. The British going. Looks like the French at the end of the bridge are in a state of confusion. They should retreat into the fort. I can't even see if the gates are open or shut. And now more British troops pouring across the bridge. The 68th going towards them. Unfortunately, the Highlanders are now retreating. There's more fighting these French troops than we thought. They're really doing well. And the 68th now marching backwards, which you may think is strange, but it's something troops were trained to do. Get out of the way so they're not trampled by the Highlanders. Once again, that bridge is proving to be so difficult to take because it's so narrow, it allows the defenders to concentrate their focus on a few leading soldiers. So maybe things aren't too bad for the French after all, because over on the front side of the boat, the Austrians and the 46th are still holding out because the redcoats just aren't advancing. They're so shaken by their counterattack, they're just standing there. Highlanders shouting there to the 68th, so I hope them shouting, next time mates, it's your turn. So, the very gallant but outnumbered Pantaleon de Lean still holds the end of the bridge, despite being out. British artillery firing solid round shot. And they try again, this time the 68th. It's easy for the English to do this, they rotate the regiments, but it's the same French unit trying to hold the end of the bridge. They're getting tired, it's difficult to load your musket when it's fouled with black powder. Going down the bridge, they're now firing in the Austrians. Very clever, they're hitting the Austrians in the back. British officer had his head shot off, unfortunately it was just his hat. He's not looking very pleased, it must have cost him quite a lot of money and a musket ball in it. Cannon firing again. And it looks like some of the French have decided it's time to leave. They've jumped in the boat and they're paddling away. They're trying to escape. That's not very noble. Firing as they go, look at that. I think they deserve a bit of credit for that. What's happened to the rest of their regiment? It looks like they're getting kicked away. There's only two of them. They'll sail back to France soon. Terribly sorry. I'm afraid things didn't work out as planned. Another 16th Division took very careful aim at the boat. Didn't hit it there. On the other side of the battlefield now, the gun crew are down. They've been shot by the British riflemen. Wiped out. The French gun is down. It's gone. And the British are coming forward, ladies and gentlemen. They're attacking. The French are falling. They've captured the French gun, they've got a couple of prisoners there. They simply cannot see through the smoke what's left of the French. A few Austrians still on their feet. Now, first guards march forward. At the front, 68th in front of them, and the French and Russians hold. Ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty bad for the French, but I'm sure you'll agree they fought well. Can we have a cheer for the French? They do deserve it. A cheer for the French! Cheer for the British! Russians are down, 3 or 4 lancers just shot down by the French are fighting to the last man. Well, fighting to the last 2 men, sleeping away in a boat. The French are falling back, they're trapped under the walls. There's only a few of them left. I think General Custer, we'd know how he felt. And some of the French are surrendering. Look, the Austrians are going forward. They're going forward in hand-to-hand fighting with the British, and they're down. Not doing very well at all. Several French have surrendered. They've put their guns down. Total mayhem over there as the British at last have taken the bridge. And one of the soldiers of the French troops has been captured, pushed to the rear, and he's sitting down with his hands on his head. He's probably partly miserable, partly very grateful for being alive. There's still some fighting going on. I'm not sure who's alive and who's dead. Still some French troops alive. And across the bridge marches the band. Oh, they're firing, the cannons firing at the boat now. That really is a bit unfair, isn't it? I really think they should get out of this.
Take a picture of the cannon, then fire.
So, it looks like the French are beaten, except for 2 men sailing away majestically, like the owl on the pussycat. And the French flag is coming down. The British are taking the French flag down. Let's hope they remember to bring a Union Jack, otherwise it's going to be embarrassing.
It's going to go now, Mark, in a minute.
The artillery is still firing at the boat. Remember, these artillery pieces are just as inaccurate as muskets. They're like giant muskets on wheels, really. Solid iron, single shot, muzzle loading. A very devastating piece of artillery. Could the children running across the bridge please stay where you are? Just for the moment, please. The battlefield has not been cleared. There's still cartridges here. Stay where you are. Can I ask a couple of Marines, please, to take post up the Ravelin to stop any kids doing anything silly? Well, they just shot a Frenchman over there. That's a bit unfair. And he thought he was going to survive too. And ladies and gentlemen, look what's going up the pole. It's the Union flag. The British have taken the fort. They've won the battle. At last, the flag goes up the pole. Total victory for the British Army. So, defeat for the French. They fought very well yesterday. Unfortunately for them, they didn't succeed. So, I hope you've enjoyed this display by the Napoleonic Association. I'm going to ask you to stand where you are for a moment so we can clear the battlefield. But for the moment, please show your appreciation for the Napoleonic Association. Now, can I please ask members of the Napoleonic Association to quickly clear the battlefield, especially the Ravelin, where we don't have many troops. Can you please hurry and clear the battlefield of any spent cartridges, unspent cartridges? In the meantime, you might just like to sit here, ladies and gentlemen, and admire the view. In a couple of minutes' time, you'll be able to move, but we can't let you move. Now, while I've got you as a captive audience, I'm going to put the experts in now. This battle was staged as part of the English Heritage Special Events Programme. There's over 200 special events each year. Right, those, ladies and gentlemen, on the Ravelin, where I'm sitting, and beyond the Ravelin, you can now move into the fort. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed the battle, consider joining English Heritage and help us to fight the war and the information. We also might like to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the regiment is still not. The Society of the Ravelin Olympics will be here the second weekend in September. Finally, there is a souvenir video that will be available of this battle and of yesterday's. If you'd like to find out more about the souvenir video, notes down please, it's made by ABK Publications, and you can get their address at the ticket office a bit later on. So if you want to know more about the souvenir video, ask at the ticket office later on. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed the show. Do support English heritage. Maintaining castles and forts is very expensive. We need your help. If you join us, like the National Trust, you get into our sites free. But your membership fee will help us